Okay, so we can start. Again, a pleasant afternoon to everyone. Hope you all are staying safe. So for this afternoon's webinar, before we proceed, I just want to go through our house rules again. So this will be a recorded webinar and we'll be sharing the resources, that's the PowerPoint slide along with the actual recording of the whole session at the events page of Esri Singapore. Next is please do fill in the feedback survey at the very end of our webinar. So once we close the whole session, you should have a pop-up window wherein you'll be filling in the feedback survey. And if you have any topics that you would like to hear more about from us, please do suggest that in that particular platform as well. And everyone will be at listen only mode, meaning all of you will be muted as we start the webinar. So if you have questions, there is a box provided for you within the GoToWebinar platform to type in your questions. You can type them in at any time, and we will have a session at the end of our presentation to cover the questions. And yep, we can go to the next slide. Right. So this is the second of our three-part COVID-19 webinar series. And if you would like to know more about the past sessions that we have conducted under this particular series or the upcoming ones, which will happen next Wednesday as well, you may check them out at sresingapore.com.sg/GIS conversations. And we can go to our next slide. Right, so for this afternoon, we'll be talking about location analytics in movement monitoring and how the policies that has been implemented and are being continuously implemented and tweaked during our circuit breaker period were generated or were planned based on how people have been moving and behaving over a specific area. And our speaker for this afternoon is Abhijit. So Abhijit is one of our lead enterprise consultants in the solution consulting team at Esri Singapore, and he has over 11 years of experience in geo-enabling Singapore's leading organizations advancing in location-based analytics to help them towards the whole Smart Nation initiative. And for this afternoon, my name is Sarah Villavicencio, and I will be your moderator. So with that, let me hand over the floor to Abhijit.
Thank you, Zara. Thank you. Good afternoon, all. So in today's discussion, we will be covering how location analytics is helping the movement monitoring. So without further delay, here's the kind of agenda that we're going to discuss today. We'll be talking about COVID-19 and the movement monitoring and why it is important. Then we'll be showcasing a demo on NUS Spacer, a particular app that they have created using Esri platform. And then we'll be talking about Esri's disaster recovery program. And at the end of the webinar, we will be holding a question and answer session. So coronavirus, also known as COVID-19, is creating massive public health challenges for communities across the globe, including right here in Singapore. The COVID-19 pandemic has altered the world swiftly and profoundly. Social distancing, that is, reducing interactions between individuals in order to slow down the spread of the virus, has become the new norm. As we all know, the virus is primarily spread between people during close contact, most often via small droplets produced by coughing, sneezing, and talking. The droplets usually fall to the ground or onto the surfaces rather than traveling through air over long distances. Less commonly, people may become infected by touching a contaminated surface and then touching their face. So as of today, there are 4+ millions infected worldwide, according to the Johns Hopkins University, and more than 290,000 people have died. Over 1.5 million have been recovered. When it started, we came across one particular word called super spreader. From South Korea at Seoul National University, a spatial temporal epidemiologist was able to determine that someone known as patient 32 became a super spreader in South Korea. This patient infected fellow members of a church, and this gave rise to the 60% of country's current cases. This incident and others have amplified the need for social distancing to help ensure that even healthy people don't become vectors. Next, in Singapore, for the local clusters, the first clusters to be identified at health products shop Yong Tai Han is another significant cluster of 9 cases, where a tour group from China had visited in February. 2 travelers in the Chinese group had been tested positive uh, for the virus. So this was the first local transmission cluster announced by authorities on February 4. The next one was the Grace Assembly of God Church. So the authority they have confirmed that the locally transmitted COVID-19 infection cluster at Grace Assembly of God is linked to the cluster at the Life Church and Missions Singapore, where 2 travelers from Wuhan had visited and were likely to be the source of the infection. So if you take a look about the infographic here, first it was like 2 persons from Wuhan visited the Life Church. Then they attended the Chinese New Year family gathering, and one person, patient 91, infected the Grace Church staff, and from there it all spreaded. So this is another local cluster which was huge. Now, recently, if you have noticed that all the cases per day average about 800 to 1,000 cases, mostly are coming from the dormitories. There are over more than 300,000 low-wage migrant workers in the country right now who take jobs on the constructions, estate maintenance, and manufacturing. Their accommodation includes 43 mega dormitories with more than 1,000 workers each, some 1,200 factory converted dormitories, which typically house 50 to 100 workers each, and temporary living quarters with around 40 workers on various construction sites. So on top of that, in Punggol, the S1, which operates the Punggol facility, the dormitory can house up to like 14,000 workers in 4-story building on about 5.8 hectares, roughly the same area as 8 football pitches. That means that if the concentration of the people are high, the likelihood of the infection are going to be increased. So why social distancing and movement monitoring is so important? As of today, experts all over the globe, they agreed that COVID-19 outbreak cannot be stopped at this moment. And researchers are working on the vaccination and it has not been out. So um, it is unlikely to be stopped at this moment, but it can be slowed down through the implementation of social distancing measures. Limiting the human contact reduces the transmission rate. The sooner the social distance measures are introduced, the slower infection rates will be. And we have seen that after the circuit breaker in Singapore, the community spread has now come to a single digit. I think it's over the past 3 days. If you have noticed, it's all less than 10 numbers. Researchers say that COVID-19 rapid spread is likely due to the movements of people with no or very mild symptoms, namely those who are unaware that they're even carrying out the virus and they're spreading the virus when they go and meeting other people in the community. Now, COVID-19 has spread far and wide because it is definitely highly contagious and also because it can start spreading before symptoms appear. Confirmation regarding this type of spread has emerged over the last days by a group of researchers at the National University of Singapore and the Singapore Management University foresaw this and create a tool that enables administrators to estimate people counts in different buildings on campus. So the application name called geospatial. This tool enables decision makers to identify places on campus where people concentrations are high, like an eye in the sky, it also allows leaders to make principled choices about what actions to take to reduce the likelihood of person-to-person COVID-19 transmission. It also can inform about the effectiveness of the policies. For example, when lecture halls effectively shut as a result of the implementation of e-learning, or if the students are amazing at the other location, if they're gathering at other locations. So without further delay, let me show you how that application looks like. So this is the application called Anywhere Spacer. So the Anywhere Spacer is actually at the back working on Esri platform. So this is ArcGIS dashboard, and it's building on top of ArcGIS online application. It's a cloud-based collaborative content management system. And so that's this particular dashboard is actually have a header called Anywhere Spacer. And this header has also got a category selector where you can select the dates as well as the time. You can choose different dates and the map will be reflected accordingly. And you can also choose the different times, hourly basis. On the left hand side, it has got the widget for to showing the 10 highest number of occupants by building. So the data, how the data is coming to the system is the aggregated Wi-Fi collection of the data is coming from all those buildings to this system in over real time. And this data is actually reflecting to the map. So as you can see here, the building legend is actually talking about the occupancy percentage. So different color depicts different percentage number, like light yellow 0 to 30%. So the top 10, the 10 highest number of occupants per building, if you can select on the map, it will select that building as well as it will show you the pop-up with all the required information. Now for the selected buildings, it can show you the number of occupants. On the right hand top corner, it has got a building selector as well from this NUS campus. You can select a particular building to see the trend over time, in space and time, to see the total number of occupants in that particular building. Or if you select the all buildings, it's going to give you the aggregate, the average. Also, it's showing you the right now the present data, but how about if you would like to visualize how is the trend for the last 10 days? So it has also got a tab for identifying the how is the trend for the past 10 NUS buildings for the past 10 days. So if you can hover, it can give you an idea about, okay, on 6th of May, it was around 12 p.m. 4.43K person devices were there. It has got a little description about what this tool does. And on the right hand side, it has got the building zoomer as well. So if you can select a building, it can zoom you to that location. This tool is for the administrators as well as for the policymakers in NUS, also for the students to understand the higher concentration of the people in each building. Now, right now we were talking about the dormitories. So similar to this building, NUS campus also have various dorms. There are 15 dorms at this moment that also been mapped here in this particular dashboard. So it's a similar dashboard as of NUS all buildings. So this is only for the dormitories where students are residing at this moment. So again, the functionality is the same. You can select that 10 highest number of occupants by building, and it will select on the map as well as it will give you the pop-up to provide you more information in detail. And also for the unique devices, what is the total number of counts of the devices coming per hourly basis. So it gives you an idea of total number of devices in each building. So again, for the selected building, the total number of occupants, you can select all buildings or you can select individual buildings to get the trend and the pattern of the data. It also has got a tab for providing you the total number of how is the trend for the past 10 days. So if you can see on compared to the 3rd May, today is 13 May, is actually going on the lower side. Now let's take a look about the challenges and how the solution actually helped them. Um, so the challenges initially before building this dashboard, anyways, they did not have a consistent way to track and report the status of all NUS building and dorms impacted by the social distancing. By implementing this solution is actually helping them to track the changes status of all NUS building and dormitories through data-driven maps and apps. That is the solution. And the solution is building, as I mentioned, it's on ArcGIS Online as well as dashboards, and the data is coming to the system in real time. Value proposition, what's the benefit they have achieved here? It enables their administrators to estimate the people counts in different building. It allows their leaders to make principled choice about what actions to take to reduce the likelihood of the person-to-person COVID-19 transmission. Another challenge was NUS administrators, policymakers, students. They don't know where to go to get the authoritative information about high people concentration in NUS buildings and dorms. There is no visibility. There is no a central dashboard to visualize and understand where should I go right now and which are the places I should avoid. So the solution with this Esri solution, I can share information, the guidance, and the updates to the maps and apps and the information portals. And this application is anytime, anywhere, any device, which means you can access this application using your desktop devices, your mobile devices, as well as your iPad devices. So the benefits they got is, it reduces the misinformation and confusion by providing an authoritative source for public information. So let's take a look about, how is the framework at the back. It is an integrated system and also an iterative system. It supports each phases of the response of this COVID-19 at this moment. So we are in all middle of this response now, and the new information becomes available every day. This requires adaptive decisions and actions. So these are the major the different components that you can see in this slide. So you need to understand the community risk. Social distancing policies are put in place based on the community risk, definitely, where you can measure social distance effectiveness by using this tool. Are policies reducing the risk? So you can do that kind of analysis. Modeling the spread and the impact based on the community risk and policies in place. What are the expected impacts on the healthcare system? Managing resources, including the optimal allocation of the testing and treatment sites, and sharing the information with the public so that they understand the risk, what they can do to reduce the risk, and where they can go to testing and treatment. So when I'm saying about this can be on a broader aspects of the NUS spacer when it goes to the Singapore spacer framework. Now these components work in a single system with the output of each component serving as input to the other components. It's like a complete ecosystem. So we talk about NUS spacer. So the idea is to have like a Singapore spacer like for the whole island wide, and the idea of the Singapore spacer is to save the lives during this pandemic, global pandemic, COVID-19. So we are into the middle of the circuit breaker, and government has started easing the social distancing measures with precautions, with cautions, definitely started from yesterday, and we are looking forward to see how this tool is going to help NUS and the whole of Singapore reducing the risk of this pandemic. So after this demonstration, I would like to discuss a little bit about Esri's disaster response program. When disaster strikes, we are here to support you. Esri always provides the software and the services as well as technical support for our customers to help you achieving your goals. So given the recent news about COVID-19, we want to help support your organizational effort when it comes to keeping your community safe and managing the current situation. We are providing a COVID-19 response package, which will enable your organization to have access to Esri's geospatial platform and tools. We can help you with data, software configuration, and technical support for your applications to manage your current needs. So our team is ready to help you. So if you need any kind of assistance, please reach out to us at esri.com/disaster and click the request assistance button. And if you have data or solutions that you think is useful for the others, we encourage you to share with them, share all the data or the information with us so that we can include them in our COVID-19 GIS hub and make them accessible to our global community. Please visit the COVID-19 GIS hub site at go.esri.com/coronavirus that houses the many global and regional applications being built around the world by our trusted partners. We have also included the relevant data sources that you can use to develop your own dashboard and web maps and applications. Esri will continue to update this hub site with the new data and the resources as it become available, allowing you to make essential decisions and communicate with your stakeholders accurately and quickly. So check back often to these resources. So if I want to talk about the, what is inside that COVID response that I was talking about, what are the softwares and the services that you can get? Generally, with this 6 months package, you can get ArcGIS online subscription with ArcGIS Hub Basic, and then you will be able to get like creators user types as well as for insights. ArcGIS Pro definitely for creating your data and publishing to ArcGIS online. And there are some availability of the ArcGIS Hub coronavirus response templates for both the ArcGIS Hub templates, and it does not require any kind of premium package for your ArcGIS Hub. So ArcGIS Basic is able to help you on that. So to wrap up, the key takeaways for today's presentation is monitor the impact of the social distancing orders and public safety directives. Review human mobility data, definitely, to target the increased messaging or enforcement. Better understand the correlation of human behavior in select space and times, enabling your decision makers to make better informed choices to reduce the likelihood of person-to-person transmission. Now, if you have any questions related to Esri, you can email us directly at connect@esrisingapore.com.sg, or you can fill in the online form and we'll be happy to assist you. You can also check out the disaster response program at esri.com/disaster. I have also attached a few resources. Example, COVID-19 GIS Hub, the Esri's coronavirus business continuity solution package, as well as the public URL of this geospatial application, so that you can also take a look. With that, I would like to wrap up this session, and now we can go and take some questions from you. Okay, so I got a few questions. For example, the question is, are we able to access this presentation? Yes, definitely we'll be uploading this. Sarah will be helping to upload this presentation to the website, so we'll be get access to. Benson asked about NUS is a controlled environment where students and staff should log on to their Wi-Fi infrastructure to determine the aggregated number of Wi-Fi users in the building. How and what are the ways that we can use for the whole of Singapore? Benson, the way we can collect data from the different devices, I think there are various ways we can collect, such as your mobility data. We can contact different telco organizations to get the telco data. So I think in a discussion for what kind of data sources that we can feed into the system, I will take this offline with you. I'll contact you later to understand more about your requirement. All right. So the question I got once again from Benson, he is asking whether the dashboard has any widgets to generate notification to inform users if the building is too crowded. Right now, in this particular dashboard, it does not have, but that such capabilities can be built with a simple script to send the notification if we can identify the threshold value of a particular building to see whether it is like on the optimum side, and it sends you the notification right away. So that kind of configuration can be quickly built up. Okay, so another question from Menchan Lim is, what software you use to process and real-time location data? So the right now here, there are different ways you can actually get the data to the system. So for the real-time data, you can write some script like Python script here. In this case, it's a Python script that's pushing the data in real time. However, Esri platform has got two other options. Um, IoT for ArcGIS Online, it's kind of a real-time analytics platform where the system can ingest the real-time data, as well as for the ArcGIS Enterprise, we have Geo Event Server as a solution. Also, it will help you to process the real-time data and ingest that one. And not only that, you can ingest that one, store that data in a spatial temporal data store, as well as moving forward, you can do the big data analysis with the geo analytics. So it's open platform, and it's interoperable definitely. So you can ingest different kinds of data into the system. Right? But if you have a specific need, definitely you can reach out to me or Zara, then we can connect offline also. Right.
Yeah.
I feel ask one question: how does this differ from the safe NT app or operators? Um, Ivy, I will get back to you on that question. I'll work with you offline on that. Right. So it's the dashboard is configurable. The dashboard is configurable, and which means you can go and quickly configure with the different widgets as per your requirement. So if you have any dashboard kind of requirement, I'm sure you have seen the application built by our team and presented by my colleague Karen in the previous webinar about the National Park Safe Distance app as well. So with these kind of applications we can build so quickly, so you can reach out to us if you need some help, or if you have some other interesting requirements, please reach out to us.
Yeah, just to add, while Abhijit is browsing the questions, you can email us your inquiries, not just regarding the COVID-19 webinar series. You can email us any of your GIS related inquiries at connect@esrisingapore.com. And you can also fill in the general briefing form. Sorry, Abhijit, can we go one slide back?
Yeah, sure.
Yes, yes, thank you. So yeah, so if it's on another GIS related theme, not necessarily COVID-19, you can send us an email. You can drop us an inquiry at sresingapore.com.sg/general inquiry. Now I've seen a question here regarding uh the disaster response program. Is the six month license available on an offline package, and if we can use it beyond 6 months? So we can continue this conversation offline. We can directly link you to our respective DRP team. So we have a group of people in Esri Singapore who monitors and tracks the requests regarding the COVID-19 disaster response package. So please do send your inquiries on these different platforms to us, so that we can address them directly. And even if you have questions right now, not necessarily related to COVID-19, but is also GIS related and we can help you with, you can ask that here while we are still running the webinar, and then we'll forward it to the necessary channels within our organization. Right. And with that, we'd like to thank you all for attending our COVID-19 webinar series. So this is the second out of third. On next Wednesday, same time at 3 p.m., we will be having the last under this series. So please do check out our GIS Conversations page to register for that one if you're interested. And then we will be uploading this webinar recording shortly after we have ended the session. So before I end the session, again, I would like to request everybody to please fill in the feedback survey at the very end. So, with that, again, we thank you all this afternoon and please stay safe.